You want to introduce us on this one? You can be the
Sure.
You can be the host for the Red Labels.
Wow. I feel like there's a lot of pressure here.
No, there's not.
Welcome back to the Drunk Rasslin Lounge. That's where we're at, and this is a very special Red Label episode. Now,
Red Label episode.
That's right.
What's that, Jonesy?
So you know, in your whiskeys, you got your red labels, your black labels, your blue labels, your whatever labels. You know, you talk about top shelf, middle shelf, well, all that kind of stuff. This is a little taste of what we do around here. This is our introductory, our first approach. If you're just finding out about us, this is a good way to take in what we do here.
It's a cheap episode.
Yeah. Pretty cheap.
It's a cheap time investment.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's for you guys too, though. That's not just for us. But so what we're doing here on the Red Labels is we're not doing watch-alongs. We are going to dive into a hand-picked match that either one of us have picked, or maybe the listeners eventually. But we're going to break that match down. We're not going to do the watch-along. We're just going to go back, tell you where it's at, tell you how you can watch it. And then once you guys watch it, you can come back and you can listen to us break it down.
Yeah. Sounds good.
And that's what we're going to do this week. And
I like it.
The first one is our first Red Label episode.
You picked this one.
I picked this one. And this is one, I've been a fan of this match for a long, long time. You know that. They don't. One of my favorites of all time is Arn Anderson. So we're going to go all the way back to May 21st, 1995. That's 25 years ago. When we're recording this.
For everybody listening in the future.
Yeah, that's whenever years ago.
After we're huge internet stars and you're going back to catch up on our backlog, who knows?
Right.
Who knows?
Could be 100 years ago. 25 years ago as we're recording this. Yeah. May of 1995, it's WCW Slamboree. Yep. Now, at the time, I wasn't watching much WCW.
Was anybody?
No. But they had just brought over Hogan and Savage a year earlier. They had been running.
They were on the climb. They were on the come up.
I think Bischoff was in charge now by this point and everything like that. But this match here is between the WCW television champion Arn Anderson.
Yep.
And at the time, as a fan, anytime I watched WCW, I'd watch WCW Saturday Night, and guess who was on there defending the WCW television championship? Arn Anderson.
Yeah.
And I got so sick of seeing him. And then eventually I was like, no, this guy's awesome. Like, he goes out there and he does it every week, and you never know how he's going to beat you, and he just beats you. He just pulls it out of nowhere. And this match here I selected because here's the story. Alex Wright is 20 years old. He's green as can be. Undefeated in storyline. And he's coming up taking on the champion.
Right.
As an undefeated newcomer. He was the Rookie of the Year in PWI that year. I mean, he was a hot property at that point in time. Arn Anderson's the old guard. He's 37 or 8 years old. He's the enforcer, the whole thing. He's been the TV champion probably for a year, but it seemed like forever. They come into this match. That's all the build they get. So, we come out. We started off, and the reason that this match means so much to me is because of the storytelling and the psychology of it. And we're going to get into wrestling weeds here, but just the reversal of your traditional wrestling psychology in this match seems almost revolutionary. It's not, but you just don't see it very much.
Right.
And the way it put over the new guy, the way it put over the finisher, and what the veteran was capable of just out of nowhere was incredible. Just a great story from beginning to end. And I don't know how you want to do this, if you want to break down the story of it, or...
Man, this is your match. Go ahead and roll with it.
All right.
What do you got?
So this is what we do. We do for 12 minutes, so it's a 12-minute match probably. For 8 minutes, Alex Wright outworks Arn Anderson.
Yep.
He keeps going back to headlocks. He keeps going back to arm bars. He breaks down Arn Anderson. He plays Arn Anderson's game better than Arn Anderson does in the first 8 minutes of this match. And Arn Anderson gets a little bit of what we call the heat towards the end of the match, where he's in control, but he's still selling. It's not something you see heels do that often in their heat, in that late in the match. They're not selling anymore. They've been in control. But Arn Anderson has been underneath this entire match. He has put over Alex Wright to the point. Alex Wright hasn't had to do much. About the 10-minute mark, he hits a big missile dropkick. That's your only high spot of the match. He hits that. It's a falsie, but not a,
right.
Oh, it's a 2.5. Yep. That's it. We get back up, and we keep going back to work. And throughout this entire match, Arn Anderson is driving this green guy down this road that he's never, I guarantee you, he's never worked. And Arn Anderson's just, let me drive, kid. I got this. And it's brilliant. We get to what looks like is going to be where Arn has his little bit of heat. Alex Wright's going to fire back up, and he's going to take back over control of this match, which is what we're conditioned to believe. That's conditioning of what a wrestling fan sees. That's what a match looks like. That's what the storytelling of wrestling is.
Yep.
That's what is coming next. And all of a sudden, there's a reversal, a leapfrog, or Arn Anderson ducks a clothesline. Alex Wright throws a clothesline. He goes around him. Arn Anderson just throws up a fist like this. Alex Wright ducks. Arn Anderson snaps a DDT, and it's over. That quick. And that's the magic of this match. It's unexpected. It's like no other. You're conditioned, like I said, for a certain type of storytelling in wrestling, and this goes against a lot of those beats that you're used to seeing. And the way that it works is Arn Anderson just looks like a master out there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible the amount of effort he went through to put this guy over, the amount of effort that he went through to make this guy not look green, just make Alex Wright good in this match. And I don't know what Alex Wright did after this. I know he won some championships in 95, 96, whatever. Yeah. But, he really looked like a superstar coming out of this match. Like he could be a big deal.
Well, they definitely went into this, and the story. So you broke it down. You broke it down like you've got everything in there. What I see in this match when I watch it is they're very much working they want Alex Wright to look like the athlete, to look like he's explosive, he's highly athletic, he's quicker than Arn Anderson, he's faster on the draw every time. And then when Anderson does get his little shots in there and his little bits, it's they're kind of sneaky. It's kind of him taking his opportunity. It's him outthinking Alex Wright, and then by the time they get to the finish, I'll fake the punch, he'll duck, and I'll drop him with the DDT. It's that same type of thing. Arn Anderson outthought Alex Wright.
Right.
Something that I know. So you kind of keep referring to how it's not what wrestling fans are conditioned to. It's not kind of that traditional psychology. Just to kind of explain that real quick for our listeners who aren't wrestling nerds or wrestlers. Traditionally the match goes, the good guy controls the beginning, looks strong in the beginning, out wrestles the bad guy. The bad guy will do something dirty called a cut off to cut him off, and then he will control the middle of the match, and that's really where he puts the heat on and beats up the good guy, and where the fans will theoretically want to see the good guy come back.
Correct.
Then at the end, there's the comeback, so the good guy gets their big fire up, their comeback, their Hulk up, whatever, and then the finish, however the finish happens. I've when you journey south, you find that there is another psychology that we didn't have as much experience with, where the concept is that the loser controls 75% of the match. And whether they're good guy, bad guy, however, now how they control the match is what is determined by whether they're a good guy or they're a brawler or whatever. I think we see that kind of coming, that idea here in this match, because Alex Wright controls probably more than, he probably controls 80% of this match.
Yeah.
And the idea there is that it's more exciting to, where the traditional psychology that we kind of talked about, that shine, heat, shine, go home, right?
Right.
That's a little more to establish kind of that heat, and to where you're working to get the fans to want to have that comeback, right? When you have the way it was explained to me, when you have where the guy who is losing controls 70% of that match, that's the idea, is that it's more exciting to see the guy who has been on top, and then whoever wins, to see that comeback and that sudden switch. The idea of when a football game is won in the last quarter.
Right, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that psychology comes into play, and that kind of mindset. So I always think it's interesting to kind of see that play out, because it is not one that has made the transition as much into modern wrestling.
Right.
So it's so I appreciate every time I see that. Not to swerve too far off, but you see the Undertaker work that a lot. Especially go back and watch his, when he is winning, he gives the guy he's wrestling a lot more, and when he's losing, he's in control a lot.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a thing that's out there.
Yeah, I can see that. I've never even thought about that with the Undertaker, just because of the style of match where Anderson is on whoever's level he's in there with, right? So
at least.
Yeah, I mean, he just brings himself to wherever they need him to be.
Yep.
And he still comes to the ring. He's got that shiny Letterman's jacket thing on, and he just got a mean look on his face and his belt around his waist, right? Yeah. So there's nothing flashy, there's nothing different. He comes in there, he looks like he means business, and he's got that reputation so that well, this is Alex Wright's first test.
Yeah.
And then within 2 minutes, you're like, well, shit, Alex Wright can win this.
Right.
And that's huge,
yeah.
In that moment for him.
Yep. I always think it's also interesting with Anderson. Has there ever been a guy who is more? I mean, Arn Anderson, his place in the storyline is his place in the locker room. You know what I like? He is the same. Like some guys, that maybe they've got a high spot, but they're not like a locker room leader, or they may be that guy that like you send them to test with, but they're not like. It's not necessarily like, hey, we'll send this guy out. If he can go with, like they didn't necessarily send guys out there to find out. They sent guys out there to work with Jake the Snake to get to Hogan, but they didn't necessarily send guys out there to work with Jake the Snake to find out if they could get to Hogan.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Anderson, wherever Anderson is in the show, like his character, like that's where he's at backstage, I feel like. And there's not a lot of guys like that. So I always think it's interesting. I always think that adds an extra dynamic. It's like at that time, like you said, send Alex Wright out there. He's green. He's brand new. We want him to be somebody. Can he go hang with Anderson? And it works that way in storyline, and I'm sure that was in everybody's mind watching through the curtain.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. It's just a classic to me, and it's one that over the years of being a wrestling fan, it's one I've always come back to. It's one I've always appreciated, just for its difference, just for what's accomplished in it, and that DDT, man, that DDT is just wicked,
quick and sudden. Man.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's a good one.
What Jake always say: short ride, bad landing.
Yeah, that's right. Ooh, short ride, bad landing.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So that's the Red Label, man.
It's good, man.
I don't think we can not taste something while we're here, though.
Oh, well, we might as well do a tasting.
I mean, we have a brand to uphold.
What do you got for us?
Oh, let's see.
This is your deal.
Well, we got a little tin cup here. Cut with Rocky Mountain water.
Ooh. This is a bourbon?
Actual tin cup on top.
Yeah.
That's pretty rad.
Yeah. That's their brand.
It just says American. Yeah. Just says American whiskey from Denver, Colorado.
Okay.
I believe it's bourbon.
Okay. This is one I've been wanting. Well, if it doesn't say bourbon, it's not bourbon. It has to say bourbon if it's bourbon.
So it just says mountain whiskey and American whiskey. So.
Well, this is actually one I've been wanting to try for a while. I've never had tin cup before, so I'm excited. Get a little bit in there. A little bit in there.
In the L. There you are.
All right. Ooh.
Smells
Smells
like
good.
blended whiskey. It does smell good.
Yeah.
Man.
It's definitely there's a little. It's got a sweet smell.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little bit of funkiness on the back end. It's not super boozy.
Mm-mm.
Which is what's the proof on this?
84. It's a
84.
big boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's not bad.
It's like a rye proof usually, so a little bit more than a bourbon, but
yeah. Oh, that's good.
That's really good.
It's rich. It's really full bodied. This for it to be not labeled a bourbon, it's got a lot of bourbon to it. I feel like it's got that kind of full richness. It's kind of sweet.
Mm-hmm. With the amount of booziness I get, it does feel like a rye to me, but it's got more of that because we've done some ryes and some of them are like this is just generic.
Yeah.
It's just boozy,
right?
Kinda, like I can get the same out of vodka almost, like but it's got a little bit of that whiskey flavor. This is more whiskey flavored rye to me.
Definitely,
like it's got that rye aftershock, after hit, but the front end of it is really like a. I taste more of a blended whiskey, more of like a Canadian whiskey. Or probably not an Irish whiskey, but more something like that.
I see what you're saying, and I agree.
Something like a Canadian Club, something.
It's a little more traditional whiskey. It's got that kind of that whiskey flavor, that whiskey bite,
right?
And I always just like my go-to is not my go-to drink, but my go-to thought is Jack Daniel's, right? And it's got a little bit of that Jack Daniel's flavor. There's almost a little sourness to that whiskey flavor that I think comes from Jack Daniel's. That some of the other bourbons and stuff are a little more full-bodied.
Right.
And I would definitely attribute that closer to this. It's kind of... I like that. That's good.
We can drink it out of a tin cup from now on.
Drink it out of a tin cup.
We'll wash it first. That's it, man. That's the first red label.
It's the first red label.
Yeah.
I think this is a good addition to the Drunk Rasslin brand. Good idea, Jonesy.
I do too, man. Good call. We'll see you guys next time. Another red label brand.
Another red label.
And be sure to tune in. Check out drunkwrestling.com. We do watch-alongs, full features. We're going to start doing a little bit more stuff like this, though, too, to wet your palate. So, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Take care.